One, I hope you're doing fine. I'm doing fine too. In one of my previous videos, I have talked about the format, the structure, the process, and etiquettes of writing a professional email. In my today's video, I will be talking about 10 writing mistakes that you may potentially make while writing a professional email. And these mistakes can make your email ineffective. All right, then. So we are going to start with the first one. The first writing mistake is to prepare the email with the wrong subject line, no subject line, and poor subject line. That means your subject matters a lot. So whenever you are writing an email for professional purposes or for academic purposes, make sure that your subject is relevant and precise. Precision does not mean that it has to be very concise and short. It has to be relevant, but at the same time, informative enough for your audience to know why you are sending this. So don't make this mistake. Write a very relevant and precise subject line. The second mistake is not personalizing your audience. That means you're not personalizing the greeting. As I said before in my video on email, you can check that out. Greeting is very, very important and it has to be cultural specific. So you're not personalizing your greeting. That means you are not acknowledging who your audience is. So instead of just saying, hello, good morning, you can just mention the name if that is appropriate for the culture, or you can just write, hello, sir, hello, madam, for Bangladeshi audience, for Indian audience. Or you can also write, hello, Miss Banu, or maybe with the first name, hello, Jainab. That works. And then the third one is to announce more information in one paragraph or in one message, in fact. So announcing too much in one single message or email is actually a downfall. That means you cannot overwhelm your audience with long text, heavy emails that will frustrate them. So if you want to send more things, if you want to talk about something more, or if you want to convey more information, maybe an attachment can work, but not the body of the email. So if you are writing an email to your audience and you want to say something more, say it in an attachment or maybe in the follow-up email. So it is basically something like this. You will write the email in short paragraphs, not long text heavy email, but in short paragraphs that will make greater impact. Okay. Then number 4 is employing ambiguous language, which you should avoid. Ambiguity means confusing, blurring, not clear. So don't confuse your audience by writing ambiguous language. Just write it clear. Avoid jargon words, avoid complicated words, avoid words or phrases that will complicate the conversation and can create misunderstanding. So it is very, very important to know culture-specific words, international English, so that you can convey your message appropriately to your audience. So avoid ambiguous language. The fifth one is very common. People make mistake. I mean, it is very common. You should not copy and paste. So when sometimes we try to forward the same or similar sort of thing, we tend to copy from one source and paste it to some other source, which is absolutely no. Attach if the document requires more than a few minutes to read, but don't just copy and paste a long, message to one single email. That is very, very frustrating for your audience. But when you attach something, that is number actually 6, that when you attach something, don't forget to explain the attachment. Sometimes people attach a document, an extra document, PDF file, PPT file, photo, or anything, and then they forget to explain why they have attached it and or what is it in the attachment. So always make sure that you talk about your attachments. You can say like the enclosed file has this sort of information, or I have attached this document herewith. It is very, very important to let your audience know that the attachment is not there by mistake. You have not mistakenly attached something. You have intentionally attached it, and you have a purpose of doing that. So don't forget to explain that attachment. Number 7 is not using simplistic words. So not simplistic, but simple words. The research says that only 21% people do not use jargon. If you don't know what jargon is basically heavy text, complicated words, complicated terminologies that require more explanation. All right. So when you are writing an email to your general audience, professionally or academically, do not use jargon words. If you want to use jargon words, have a conversation face to face and then talk about it, because jargon words require explanation, further explanation. So using jargon words can make your email ineffective. Number 8 is failing to use signature. This is also a very common thing, and I also experience this sort of things when I get emails from various sources. And that is, people do not usually sign their email off. It is very, very important to write your name or insert your signature at the end of the email, because otherwise your audience may not know how to address you. Your audience may not know who is sending the email, right? So it is important to acknowledge that your name, your designation, and your contact information must be at the end of the email. It's important. Even in the follow-up email, it's important. And when you sign your email off, you're actually letting your audience know that you can call me with this name, your signature name. Sometimes when I sign my email off to my students, I write Professor Banu, because I want them to call me Professor Banu in the academic setting. And when I send the emails to my teachers, I write China. That's it. Okay, number 9 is having poor email format. Not having enough space is a problem. So, for example, you are not writing long paragraphs, but you are writing short paragraphs without the spaces. That also looks text heavy and really, really frustrating in the eyes of your audience. That means you need white space in between the paragraphs. You need to make sure that your font size, your font type, these are all okay. And there is no long paragraph. And also you're highlighting or making the major information bold while writing it. That means having a poor format is a problem. So how can we avoid that? We must have white spaces. We must ensure the font type and font size, and it has to be consistent throughout the email. And then there should be no long paragraphs. And even in the short paragraphs, as I mentioned, that there should be white spaces. And finally, to highlight major information, most important information, you can bold, underline, italicize, or even use highlighter. That makes it, impactful. And finally, this is very, very important, that we do not revise. You need to proofread, revise your email before you send it out. When you send it out, it can't be undone. When it is done, it can't be undone. And that's why you need to proofread your email before you send it out to any professional or academic recipient. Because if there is a grammatical flaw, if there is a problem with the tone, or, the tone, let me just talk about it a bit more. When we are angry, we should not send emails right away, because at that time, our hormones control our language. That is problematic. So when you're writing a professional or academic email, don't write it in anger. Don't write when you're emotionally unsettled. So take your time, revise it, fix it, and then you send it. That's it. It's very simple. So these are the 10 common writing mistakes we probably make while preparing the professional email, and we should avoid them to make the email look more impactful, to make our audience feel more comfortable and welcoming, and to convince them with whatever topic we are discussing. All right, then I will see you in the next time with some new topic. Subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and also let me know what are the things that you want to know from me more.